Yippee-Ki-Yay, mother.
Welcome to the party, pal.
Welcome to another edition of Yippee-Ki-Yay, Mother Podcast. I'm Ralph Quartucci.
I'm Sean Paul Murphy.
I'm Deborah Murphy.
I'm Michelle Wojciechowski.
I'm Brad Barowie.
I'm John Quartucci.
And I'm Drew Gould.
Wow, we're getting very creative with these names. Welcome, everybody. Hope you had a good week. Tonight's a big night. It's election night, but Here we are doing the podcast.
Hope everybody voted. Hope you all voted out there.
Everybody vote. Tonight we're doing the commitments, and before we get rolling with that, I want to just let everybody know that we tend to spoil these movies. And if you haven't seen
it, it's been out for 29 years. If you haven't seen it, go watch it, then come back. We'll be here.
That's right. So I don't know. The spoiler's not coming. Who cares? So
Let's wait for the big reveal. I'm dying for the big reveal.
So if you haven't seen the commitments, go see the commitments. Come back. We'll probably still be on by the time you're done watching this show, and we'll still be talking about everything.
Oh, that's
But before we do that,
on our own show.
Yeah. If you look at our YouTube page, we have about 6,500 views on all our videos. 4,500 of those are on Young Frankenstein. The rest are spread throughout the other ones. I mean, Taking the Pelham's got 1,500 views. So let's get the viewership up. John, anything we need to do to get the views?
Listen, I keep telling you, if you like what you're seeing, subscribe. But what you really got to do, hit the notification button and share. And listen, we've got 4,500.
And remember, we do spoilers.
Listen, there's not a lot of spoilers in the commitment, but we ruin movies, okay? So if you've never seen the movie, you should watch the movie, then come back and watch this. But Young Frankenstein has 7 thumbs down. I want to know why.
Yeah.
Because I think what they're saying is something to do with Ralph. I'm not sure.
But I don't like something.
Put in the comments. I'm just assuming.
Could be. All right, but before we dive into the commitments, commitments, here it is. And again, in case anybody's wondering, I can't get the spoilers up. I don't know what's going on. What did you do this week? Let's start with John Quartucci. What did you see this week?
So I didn't want to watch an old movie. So I went on TCM and they were running 1995's Party Girl with Parker Posey, who I absolutely love. And I've only seen the movie once, and I remember it was very 90s. Yeah. But I watched it again, and she was just really, really good in it. I mean, it's not the greatest movie in the world, but her performance in it is really good. And it's a light movie, which is good for me after doing these podcasts because you guys depressed the hell out of me. So I wanted to watch a little more upbeat. That's why I'm so happy, Wojo, about this week's movie.
Thanks.
So that's what I watched.
All right. Well, since he brought Wojo up, Wojo, Brad, what do you got?
We actually took your advice and watched something you suggested, and we liked it. This is the second time. The Trial of the Chicago 7.
Oh,
if you have not seen that movie on Netflix, watch this movie. It is phenomenal.
Yeah.
I read recently, we watched it last weekend, and I read this week that there's a good chance that all of the actors in this movie are going to be competing against one another for Best Supporting Actor at the Oscars this year, and it would not surprise me.
Wow.
It was so good.
Yeah, I felt the same way. It's really good.
Brad, you liked it?
I did. I really enjoyed it. Yeah, very good.
All right, Drew, what do you got?
Well, for Halloween, I took another Ralph recommendation. I watched The Babysitter on Netflix, which was fantastic and fun and ridiculous. And I remember I was watching it, and my wife and I were enjoying it, and I was like, "This is good, but it's a little over directed." And then I saw it was directed by McGee, and I was like, "Oh no, so it's just directed. That's fine." But yeah, we watched The Babysitter, and we liked The Babysitter so much because I love Samara Weaving, whatever the pronunciation of her name is. We watched the sequel right after, which wasn't as good but was still good. Yeah. And then I watched 5 other movies this week.
Oh my God.
The only one that I'll mention, because it surprised me how much I enjoyed it, is Enola Holmes, which is the Sherlock Holmes.
Really?
Henry Cavill, right? Henry
Yeah, it's
Cavill.
Millie Bobby Brown.
Yeah.
and Henry
Is that a
Cavill.
movie or I thought it was a series?
No,
No.
it's not. It looks like it would be, but it's
Oh.
actually a feature film that got
Yeah.
moved
Oh, okay.
to streaming. It was going to be a theatrical release and then be on Netflix. And
Okay.
it's not. I mean, it's not a great Sherlock Holmes movie because it's not like it has a great mystery that you can figure out, that sort of stuff. But it's sweet and it's funny, and I mean, everybody in it is great and having a good time, and that was refreshing, frankly, this week.
Ralph, do we each get two? Do we get to pick two?
Well, I can also tell you movies not to see if you want.
Oh no.
No, only
Bronx, you don't
Every
need to see
time
that.
an ad pops up on my computer, watch Annabella. I thought, nope. Drew hated that movie. Very clear.
no, actually, only
welcome.
Drew and I get extras. I don't know why, but that's the way it's worked out.
Drew,
So,
but one question for Drew.
Yeah.
Drew, were there any doorbell alarm?
No, in all of the movies that we watched, I'm looking at the list right now. One of them didn't even have doorbells like in any of the houses, and none of them were abused. So I think it was good. None of my dogs got upset about that. So they're approved. They're Ghoul Dog approved.
Excellent.
You should come up with a list of all the movies that have
Doorbells.
bother your dogs.
That's a good idea. I sense a very special episode.
The doorbell episode.
Doorbell episode.
Special.
Well, we're still waiting on
YKY
a
Mother
couple.
podcast.
We're still waiting on a couple lists from everybody, so we'll wait on that too. So
Look, we had computer problems like you don't even
Okay.
want to know.
All
We're
right,
not even going
all
to talk about it.
got it. Dog ate your computer stuff.
That's
Sean and Debbie, what do you got?
Well, we
You
on
suck.
Halloween, after the book signing for Chapel Street at a real cemetery with Johnny Unitas, Artie Donovan, Mayor William Donald Schaefer, and former Vice President Spiro Agnew, we came home
My
and
dad's
watched.
there too. So
And Brad's dad is buried there.
Yeah,
Oh.
he was
He
great.
came out.
He came out. He bought a copy. And, yeah, we watched the Wicker Man, the original.
Oh,
Christopher
Well,
Lee.
I was scared off. I had never seen it because I was watching the remake, which was terrible. But the original one is a really groovy and weird movie.
Yeah.
It's like the soundtrack's very interesting because they'll segue a lot from like old folk tunes to like rock tunes of the period and all. And it was about a police inspector, an uptight police inspector goes to this island to investigate a missing girl, and he begins to suspect that she was sacrificed by the druids living on the island. And
Is that Edward Woodward?
Yeah, he's really good in it. And
The
you never seen
Equalizer,
it
for those who
before?
don't know who that is.
yeah, the Equalizer. And
Sean, had you never seen that before?
I've never seen that version of it. No.
Wow.
Yeah, I saw the Nick
I
Cage
was
one.
scared off it by the crappy sequel.
I don't blame you.
Yeah.
What about the bees?
the
Yeah.
bees.
This was a really good movie. I
Yeah,
thought.
it's creepy.
Debbie
Too.
liked it
It's
too.
creepy as
Yeah,
hell.
it was really a martyr film, about that police officer. Spoiler again, but it's really.
I don't know if I can do it.
we're just all going to start saying that every time we talk about him.
I can't. No, there it is.
Nice. Just in time.
I say that you were
A little late.
Well, that's why I like that movie Midsummer so much. 'cause
Oh my God,
was like-
Midsummer's insane.
Midsummer was like a successor to that Wicker Man vibe,
Yeah.
the isolated community
Insane.
and the naturalistic pagan rituals and all that
Which one?
stuff. And Midsummer.
Midsummer.
Yeah, we saw that yucky.
She didn't like Midsummer.
I
I,
hate that. But here's the thing about this film that we watched Halloween night after we had a bunch of candy left over.
We were high on candy.
Sean used to write, he has written like 14 movies, produced Christian films,
Not all of them.
most of them. But this one, Wicker Man, was a Christian film. You know what I mean? I would say a truly Christian film. Talk about the faith, And John, I know you
And nudity.
and nudity. So it gave it all.
70s nudity. Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
furry, very furry.
It
Nice.
just really said a lot to us about our faith,
And the nudity.
Okay, enough you two.
It's
Enough
got
with the
everything.
nudity.
Let's
All right,
not-
my turn.
Oh, that's good. It was a very good film. It was a good horror film. It was all about ideas and faith, and it was a lot of
And nudity.
definitely
Ralph,
strongly recommended.
what are you watching?
Ralph, what were you
Well-
watching lately?
Interestingly, I went to a cemetery and went to a book signing.
Nice.
Oh.
And the author actually signed this book for me,
Oh.
and it was very nice. John, thank you
I
very much. So
requested
that was-
one, but I've never gotten one.
Yeah.
I guess.
You
I'm
said
actually
you were
never-
coming to the event.
Right. I'm actually reading it, and I'll let you know my review once I'm done reading it. The movie I want to talk about is one of my favorite films, and I watch it all the time, called Shattered Glass.
Oh, I love that movie.
It's about Stephen Glass, who wrote for the New Republic and lied, faked it, faked. And with all our writers in the room, he faked a lot of his stories, like 27 of the stories he wrote for the New Republic.
Hayden
It's
Christensen.
directed. What's that?
Yep.
Christian
Hayden
Hayden.
Christensen.
Christian Hayden. How do you say his name?
Hayden Christensen. Yeah.
Hayden Christensen.
I couldn't see it because he was in it, and I had just seen those Star Wars movies.
Yeah, he's really good in it.
He's very good. He's very weaselly, very good. It's obviously based on a true story. Stephen Zahn's in it. A lot of great people in it, and it's directed by a guy named Billy Ray. I think that's his name.
That's his name. Yeah.
And it turns out I'm really starting to enjoy this guy's filmography because he did Breach. He did this one. I think he did the Comey thing that was just on
Breach
Showtime.
was amazing.
The guy's very good, and this movie is fantastic. And it's one of those that I watch while I'm editing because it's got a rhythm to it that I use, and it's fantastic. If you haven't seen it, and then again, I go down the rabbit hole, look up all the Stephen Glass stuff, and it's fascinating.
Well,
All right, so
Shattered
I have a
Glass-
story
Shattered
about
Glass-
Breach.
go ahead.
I do a lot of work with the FBI, and I was talking to one of the agents who brought Hanson down, who was an advisor on Breach and was also a character in the film, portrayed as a character. I said, "So what you like? So what you think of the film?" Didn't like it. Why? He goes, "They made me a cat person. I'm not a cat person."
That's funny.
It's funny. It's a 2-hour movie. They don't like it, not because of it, because they did.
Well, in the middle of all my COVID obsession about DVDs, I found Breach at a thrift store, and it's got the director's track, and it's got Billy Ray on there, and it's got the detective, but it's also signed by the detective. So I found this thing that was pretty cool.
Oh, that's neat.
What were you going to say about Shattered Glass?
Well, I was going to say that movie's actually on my short list, of only 60 titles that I would bring to the podcast because I find it endlessly rewatchable. I think Peter Sarsgaard, Chloe Sevigny, Rosario Dawson. It's also about like an actual moment in history when an online publication went after a traditional print publication because they caught them doing something they shouldn't, even though the New Republic didn't realize it, and they were right. So it was really just that alone was saying that this is also journalism, even though it's on on AOL or something. It's still real journalism.
Yeah, they were Yahoo or something,
Right.
and it's the New Republic was the magazine on Air Force One. I mean, there was all kinds of implications, and this guy made up everything.
Oh yeah.
Which Breach were you talking about? Were you talking about the one from? Oh, that's next year. Never mind. We don't have a time machine. I said nothing. Edit this out.
I don't know when Breach came out, but it's not that one you're talking about.
2007, did he say?
All right, well, that's what I saw, and I, as Drew said, I think it's very watchable, and they're all good in the film. It's great. So, all right, tonight we're doing.
Wait, can we do one thing before we go in? I think we have to acknowledge we lost a legend on Halloween.
Yeah.
Sean Connery is in 3 of my favorite movies of all time: The Hunt for Red October, The Untouchables, The Man Who Would Be King, and one of the greatest bad movies of all time, which we should probably do an episode on, Zardoz.
Zardoz, yeah.
The best Bond too, by the way.
Yes.
Timeless.
Yes.
Yeah. Timeless.
And we spoke about it in a podcast, as a matter of fact.
Yes, we did.
Nice.
Goldfinger.
Well, there you go.
Yeah,
I
you know
agree.
what? You know what? A lot of celebrities die, and it's no big deal. But I don't know what it was about that one. But when I heard it, first of all, I was shocked he was 90. I didn't realize.
Yeah, I
it.
know.
And
I've
it was
seen that
weird the way I
recently.
was like, I was really bummed out that he died. I was like, wow, more so than normal, or like when a celebrity dies, you don't know these people, but you felt kind of like you knew him a little bit. You know what I mean? I know that sounds weird, but
And he's one of those
Yeah.
ones
I was
you
like,
felt like was just going to be around for a long time.
yeah, true.
Yeah, and
Well, that's
actually,
Didn't expect all of a sudden. Yeah.
And for some reason in my head, he's been in his late 60s for like ever.
Right.
I had no idea he was 90. I couldn't believe that.
I know, me
Yeah,
neither.
I assumed he couldn't die unless you cut his head off. So the fact that he actually died was genuinely.
There can be only one.
That's
and
right.
I actually like the last bad movie he ever did. I think it was his last one, which is
The
that
League of
League
Extraordinary Gentlemen.
I
Yeah,
love that
that's-
film.
That's a dreadful fun movie.
It's
He
awful,
hated
but it's
that
great.
movie. You know why
but
he
it's
did
great.
that movie?
He has a mortgage?
Money. House.
He turned down Lord of the Rings because he didn't understand it. He was supposed to be Gandalf.
Oh, wow.
And he didn't understand
Oh, wow.
it. So when he got that script, he said, I don't understand this either, but I'll do it. And it ended up being, he hated it. In fact, it caused him to retire from acting.
There you go. His last film.
Man.
And I love it.
But I love him in it. He's great in it. He is great in it.
Shall not pass.
Okay. Well, and don't forget, like you guys mentioned, Highlander classic. So we may do that one day. And there'll be spoilers in that, just so everybody knows. There will be spoilers in Highlander. Spoilers.
Oh, you're getting it down, Ralph.
There we go.
All right, so here we go. Wojo brought a film tonight. Wojo, why don't you just tell us what your film is? And I'm
Upbeat and happy.
The film I brought is The Commitments. It came out in 1991, done by the great Alan Parker, who unfortunately passed away recently. And it tells the story of a guy named Jimmy Rabbit who decides he wants to bring soul to Dublin. And he's going to do it by putting together the best soul band.
The hardest working band.
The hardest working band. Yeah. And so that's the brief.
All right, well, let me show.
Wow. That was like the condensed version. All right.
Yes, it was. Well, I figure we're going to talk a lot. So.
Well, I don't know. Ralph,
you need to watch the trailer.
We've got to watch the preview first.
Here
I
comes
love
the
that
trailer,
movie.
everybody. Let me see. There we go. Here comes the trailer.
Hey, what's this?
What's what?
Have you got soul? If so, the world's hardest working band is looking for you. Contact J Rabbit.
I'm putting a band together.
Do you need a singer? Wise men say.
Well, what kind of music are we going to be playing, Jimmy? Soul. Soul? That's what you got to measure up to, lads.
Well, like, maybe we're a little white.
Nowhere to run to, baby. Nowhere to hide. When I look in the mirror to comb my hair, I see your face just smiling there, yeah.
Had to see if you could play before I pay for them. Lads, you're looking at the commitment debts.
Brilliant management, Brother Rabbit.
Let's keep relations on a professional basis.
How are we professional if we've never been paid?
Won't you cleanse my soul? My soul. Get my feet on the ground. On the ground, yeah. Hey, yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Hey, yeah, yeah. Take me in the water. Take me to the river. Baby.
Good trailer.
Yeah.
All right, take it away.
This is probably in my top 10 of movies.
Wow.
I always liked this movie. At the time when it came out, I had a crush on a guy I'd met from Ireland, which is what led me to the movie in the first place. But my mom and I went to see it for the first time at the Rotunda. And my mom was so into the music, and it just envelops you. I mean, I feel like there's not, I mean, maybe this is just because I happen to love this movie, but I feel like there's not a bad scene in it. It's really funny. It was based on a book by Roddy Doyle, a very thin book, actually. And he couldn't get it published. Roddy Doyle couldn't get it published. So he took out a loan because back before now, when you can very easily self-publish, it was much more difficult. He took out a loan, and one of the producers of the film, two different people sent her copies of the book and said, "You will love this." And evidently it's just filled with a lot of these quips, and it's mostly dialogue. But they said that the dialogue was able to give this picture. So like I said, it does tell of Jimmy Rabbit putting together this band. And so I'm going to get away from the plot for a second. I think it was one of the things that I always thought was really cool about this movie was that Alan Parker didn't hire actors. No one in this, or very few people who were the stars, had ever acted at all. They were musicians, and he figured we can get them to do the dialogue, we can get them to do everything, but I want them strong in
performing
music.
Right.
And actually, the guy who plays Jimmy Rabbit was originally supposed to play Declan, which was played by Andrew Deco, right?
Yeah.
Played by Andrew Strong. And Brad and I saw Andrew Strong. First let me say, after the movie came out, the movie did okay, but the music just went like crazy, and I remember the band from the movie actually was touring together because they came to Fells Point a couple times over the years, and they were just amazing. But Brad and I, in 2009, Andrew Strong, the lead singer, was still performing, pre-COVID, and he came to Ram's Head, and we saw him, and his voice is amazing, and I can't believe he was 16. I mean, can you imagine 16 years old?
with that voice.
Yeah. So
and that grown man, he looked like a grown man.
Yeah. He really did. Now, I watched the documentary about the making of, and he looks a little more baby-faced in there. Mm. But the thing is, too, you have to realize, like, we saw him all dressed up at a wedding. Then we saw him in a business suit when Jimmy first meets him to see if he'll sing. And he was so screwed up drunk that he didn't even remember he had sung at a wedding. And I like how they put the band together. I think the audition scenes are hilarious. I love the back, the smaller characters, like the father who has a picture of Elvis and then the Pope, and when he goes in his bathroom having no idea that his son is auditioning people for a band and they're playing Elvis is Cajun. He's like, that's blasphemy. Elvis isn't a Cajun, I love the music. I love the music.
So this is a book, obviously. You said a thin book. How did they translate? How did the book handle the musical? I mean, did they just describe that they were up there? How did they go?
Didn't read the book. Don't know.
Yeah.
Drew, did you read the book?
I read it a very long time ago. I read the whole trilogy, and I don't remember much about it other than I enjoyed it, and I thought that all three movies, because it's The Commitments, The Snapper, and The Van. I think all the movies are good adaptations of the films of Irish working class stories. But I mean, that's the thing about the book and the movie. All this music already exists.
Right.
And the movie and the characters in the movie and the movie itself tap into that existing soul music with varying degrees of confusion and incredulity and everything. Really, I mean, it feels very real. And that's a tribute both to Roddy Doyle and to Alan Parker and to the two guys who wrote the script for the movie.
Well, it feels real too, because it looks like where they shot it, all the stuff that's going on around, forget the music. The musical stuff is fantastic, right? But all the real life stuff that's going on, the places that everybody was living in and the way life is just going on around these characters, it's like they just dropped into that place and they just pointed a camera and that was going on. It felt so real. And that gave it such a great flavor. Beyond the musical stuff was fantastic, but then the all that other stuff around it just gave it such a good atmosphere. It was crazy. I
think this is one of those movies that I mean, this is a real thing in real life all over the world, but there are lives that you live in such poverty, and it's also poverty of opportunity. So the idea that I could be in a band and that could actually be something, and that could give me something more than everything that I see around me. This movie is an example of both how that's a real thing and also how unlikely it is to actually succeed. but that it can also be good to dream about that. I mean, there are kids in neighborhoods who they know the only way out is, to be a musician or to be an athlete or something. And, the commitments aren't likely to be a worldwide success, even though, of course, the band did actually tour all the way around the world. But I think, it's a story of escaping poverty through very unlikely avenues. Because there aren't any other avenues. And a movie that came out much later, I don't know if you've seen Lynn Ramsey's first movie, Ratcatcher. It's about a young boy in Scotland during the garbage strike. And so it's him living literally in waste and poverty. And it's a beautiful movie about him trying to escape it in his own head. And I felt like it was the tradition of what you just said, Ralph, that you just dropped in on Dublin, and this is a real neighborhood, and this is real people, and this is their real life. And it's also interesting because it's one of the few Irish movies that isn't overtly political about the Troubles or that history or any of that kind of stuff.
Yep.
And I mean, I've watched a lot of Israeli movies, and they have the same problem where every Israeli movie has to be something political, or people bring something political to it. And of course, they're not all political, but this felt like as much of a real life portrait as much as anything else. It happened to be real life in Ireland.
Well, I liked what you brought up is what the one character said who missed the practice, the singer. She goes, I need this more than anyone else.
Yeah.
I thought that was very good. And I don't know who's been to Ireland, but I didn't go to the scummy parts of Ireland, but I did go through some bad neighborhoods. I did feel safer in Dublin no matter where I was than generally in Baltimore, but for some strange reason. I mean, I was with some of these young Irish girls. They were just like guiding me around. I was in some club and they was playing Big Country after they were a big hit in this country, and they're just playing this small club there. And I was with some people and they left, and I was walking back to my hotel, and these young girls who wanted to know whether they should live in Los Angeles or Boston. That's all they wanted to know. They wanted me to describe both cities to them, to which one they were going to move to. And I go, I feel so safe here. And I had this big camera around my neck. And I go, I feel absolutely safe here. And they're like, well, I could just say there are a lot of streets you walk down you wouldn't leave with that camera. So, but it was really lovely. And there's another movie this reminds me a great deal of. I don't know if you've seen, called Hear My Song, starring Ned Beatty as an Irish crooner. And it's a similar story. It's about a guy who wants to be a musical manager, and he's had zero success. And there was this crooner that disappeared, and he for tax reasons, and he feels he could become successful. He can get this crooner back for a concert. And it's another one of those Irish singing movies. And I love this film. And what I really love about it, how many people here have been in a band? Brad, I know you played the guitar. Were you ever in a band?
No.
But, I was only in a garage band and in a church band. And, I did play some other places. But it's really interesting to look at a band dynamic. Mm-hmm. And this is sort of like a weird band because there's usually two ways of a band forming. One, they're all friends, and, there's the friend band dynamic, or there's the later career dynamic where they're all professionals and they just feel it'd be good together. And this is not quite either because some of the people had like no real experience and all, but it's interesting how bands break up. And I used to follow a lot of bands in Baltimore, some of which had like record deals and all. And it's interesting that they tend to break up, either right before success or right after they achieve some goal. And then it isn't what they thought it was. And they know they have to start over again, kind of, and they break up. But it's really interesting to see. I love the dynamic of this movie. It's like none of these people really had any success, but now they've just played a few places. And they're getting a crowd, and it goes to a number of their heads. It's just so amazing how quickly ego can destroy something when individually none of them really had anything.
Well, Joey the Lips had a pretty good.
Joey the Lips.
Joey the Lips.
Well,
so John, let me just before John, I want to go to John because this seems like right up your alley. Happy movie, walk out feeling great. I just have to confess that the website I watch a lot. Two people on that website said their favorite movie is Singing in the Rain. They watch it all the time. And I respect those people. So I still don't like the movie, but I'm just saying they like it too. So I just want to throw that. So what you must love this film, right?
I do. I watched this movie. It's you know my adage. If it comes on TV and I'll sit through it again, every time it comes on, I watch it. First of all, everybody in it was so real. It really seemed like a bunch of real people getting together. It was also a part of the world I had never seen. Dublin, that part of Dublin, I've never seen it before. So that was the first time I saw that. I will tell you I remember distinctly when I saw this movie, the first 20 minutes, I could not make out what they were saying. Yeah. They thick accents, shite. I really couldn't understand. Then slowly you could understand. The other thing I loved about this, and I don't know if they did all the songs this way, but you could tell a lot of the performances were live. They weren't typed in music.
Mm-hmm.
Right. They talked about that in the making of.
It's amazing.
He really wanted it to be.
That added to the realism of it. And the kid, Robert Arkin, who plays Jimmy Rabbit, actually was the best musician out of them all. Yeah. And he never sang or played anything in the movie. But if you listen to the soundtrack, he does songs on both. He's really, really talented. And he tried out for Deco and the bass player. And Alan Parker said, no, you're going to be Jimmy Rabbit. And then when Deco, Andrew Strong, they auditioned his father. And somehow through that, they got to him. And that voice sounds like he's 60 years old.
Oh, I know.
So that
sounds like a 60-year-old black man.
Yeah, exactly.
So he doesn't sound like a 16-year-old white kid in Dublin.
You can't sit there and not get into the music because they do such an amazing job on it. And you want them to be successful. But as the movie progresses, you can tell, especially when they change into their own clothes from the uniforms, that's when you could tell they were all going to go their different directions. Yeah. But even at the end, when he ends up with one of the singers, it's a happy ending for Jimmy Rabbit, right? So I just love this movie. It's a joyful movie. The music, I listen to the soundtrack all the time. There's two of them, by the way. Right. Part two. It's just a great movie. And Alan Parker, when you watch the documentary, you can see the love he has for the movie and the people in it whenever he talks about it. So yeah, this is a feel-good movie, and compared to some of the stuff we've been watching, what a breath of fresh air!
I know. Listen, and the only cliche is that every movie about bands has the same thing where success gets to their head and they break up and all this. That's the only cliche.
But it wasn't done in a cliche way. I don't think.
Well,
I don't think it was cliche.
Listen, my favorite guy is the drummer, the guy that becomes a drummer, the security guy, bodyguard. Fantastic.
One of my favorite scenes is when the piano player is
Confession.
Yeah.
Oh, that's and then
it's Percy Sledge. I've
got the album.
I'm playing When a Man Loves a Woman by Marvin Gaye. That particular song is from Percy Sledge, actually.
Percy.
Well, I have two favorite lines. One was kind of dropped. Joey Lips at the end. By the way, let me just do this. Spoilers. When Joey Lips says,
"You is 29 years old."
I know. Well, Joey Lips is talking after Percy who didn't show up.
Wilson Pickett.
Wilson Pickett was late, and Jimmy's upset, and he says to Joey Lips, we could have been successful. We could have been. And he goes, "Yeah, but we're not. That's poetry."
Yeah.
We didn't make it's poetry. And then when Jimmy's talking to the reporter, and he says, "We're a guerrilla band," and he says something else, and then 2 seconds later he goes, "That's with an E, not an O." And I was just like, that was just fantastic.
Yeah.
I liked how the twin sisters always spoke at the same time.
Yeah.
That was cool. Hey,
Da.
And is that Colin Meaney's first?
Became famous.
Was that Colin Meaney's first film?
No.
Okay. So he was, he had been around for a little bit.
He was hilarious in that. Is he in the van and Snapper, Drew? I thought he was in all of them.
I think he's in all of them. I mean,
is it the same character?
I think so. And he's, I knew him from Star Trek.
Yeah, that's what I knew.
Which character are you talking about?
The Jimmy's dad.
Jimmy's father.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
He's amazing.
He was in Con Air.
Well, he's in Con Air, too. He's Con Air.
He was the FBI guy.
With the car, right.
So.
Debbie, what did you think, Debbie? I'd like to hear.
I really love this movie when I first saw it, and then when we watched it last week. But
you had to look at him to get confirmed that.
things all go together. But this movie is like it's like a concert. A Saturday night. When a Saturday night comes around, I like to go out on a toot. So it's either music to go, go out and hear some live music, or go to a great movie or dinner, really have a great weekend with either of those two. This movie just combined those two,
We were drinking while we were watching it then?
Yeah, of course. And
Reasonable.
we were home, but it's just, I was in a couple of bands. Sean was in a couple of bands. And when we're making music, I mean, when you're really making music and you could feel it, you could hear it and you could hear how you sound and it sounds great. That's your not living in poverty. That's a life. That's a rich feeling you get when you're singing and you're making music. If you've ever want to take it up, just to have it. Drew, do you play some kind of instrument? I know.
He plays the banjo.
I don't play any of it enough to get to that point, but I should work on it now. But
Heck,
I mean, I'm glad you're saying this, because that's one of my favorite parts about this movie. And I was talking about this with Ralph actually before we got started. There's a couple of other movies like Hustle and Flow has a scene where they build a song in this dumpy front room in this a house in Memphis, and you feel them build this song together, and you're right there with them. And then the other movie, I mean, this movie spawned, it's in the world of other movies about music. So Glenn Hansard, who played the lead guitarist, Outspan Foster, he's the one who went on to star in Once. Which is a wonderful movie. And then also did the music for a movie by the same director as Once, Sing Street, which has just came out.
That was really good.
Another
that movie.
He's an Oscar winner. He won an Oscar. Was that for
won
Once?
an Oscar.
Yeah.
And he
Once.
deserved it. It's
Soundtrack,
a wonderful movie with a wonderful song. So Debbie, I really that sort of thing where you get to see it, never mind feel it, but you get to see it properly portrayed in a movie, what you were describing. That's one of my favorite things in movies. Period.
And I'll tell you guys what, when we're done with this COVID and we're done with, just sitting around, we're going to have you all over. We're all going to play some music, going to sing some music. I play the drums, Sean's on the guitarist, and then Drew on the banjo. That would be awesome.
Yeah, we would have that.
Yeah, we can do the scene from Deliverance. That'd be awesome.
That's a
good song.
Tie it all together to the podcast. Perfect.
What I do is I make up a bunch of fake books, and what we would have is invite people over. We have old-fashioned hootenannies. We have a couple microphones in the basement. We have some instruments. People will bring some guitars.
We can put on a show.
You got a tambourine?
Hey, kids!
I have guitars.
Someone's going to play a tambourine. That's all I can do.
I have tambourines. I have two.
Okay, Michelle.
We've got kazoos. We can bring
as long as we finish that evening, which sounds wonderful, and I look forward to it. And you guys have already been through COVID, so I know you'll be fine. As long as we can finish that evening with a 17-minute ballet, that would be perfect for me.
I have taken ballet, so it's not out of the realm of possibility.
Oh, let's do it.
Oh,
That
and
is,
suddenly
we
this
have
became
to
a
see
very
that.
scary
We gotta see
evening.
that.
So.
I think I might pull some muscles, but whatever.
Yeah, now you pull a hamstring for
No,
sure.
you're right,
with
Deb.
that.
So when I turned 50, it was called the Year of John, and I had a party that was
True.
like a wedding.
Yeah.
I said to my wife, I go, look, I'm
We
going to
did
throw my
too.
own party. I'm going to throw my own party because no one's going to do what I want to do at my own party.
Right.
So I got a band, a buddy of mine's in a band, and I said, look, I want you to play at my party, but one of the things I want to do, I want to perform with you guys. He goes, oh yeah, give me a couple of songs and you can do them. I go, oh no. I want to do a set. I want to do one set of about 6 songs.
Wow.
And he starts laughing. He goes, that's fine. And it was the biggest thrill because I've been in bands where you play 1 or 2 songs and that's it. It was the first time I got to do a bunch of songs in a row. And it's the best. It's just the best feeling in the world. And I don't play anything. I just sing. So I should have done this. Just play. I have guitars, but I can't play anything. I should have just brought my guitar up there so it looked like I was playing just so I could do it. But it's incredible when you get up.
Just on Elvis. He never really plays.
And Elvis, please. But you can see that in the performance. Like even the way he shot it with the camera movement, it was such energetic filming of
They did a lot of the zooms in onto like specific.
And when they were rehearsing, those scenes were great. When they're showing the clips and that music, nowhere to run to, and they're by the clothesline doing the moves. It's just a fun, happy.
He directed
movie.
Fame, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So I mean, a guy knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
Well, I want to say one thing that always makes me happy about the Commitments is when the first song they do is Mustang Sally, and at our wedding, Debbie went up with the band and played that on the drums. You know, in her white dress and dark sun.
Oh my God, that's hilarious!
You have it up on your face page.
It's up on my face.
That's awesome.
I also wrote a song for her, and I borrowed the guitar player's guitar and sang. Fortunately,
the sound was off.
Fortunately,
well, there's an omen. Wow.
Because of course it was.
Hey, John, you have a Gretsch.
Do I have what?
A Gretsch.
A Gretsch.
A Gretsch?
What kind of guitar you got?
Oh no, the 72 Fender Stratocaster.
No, you got one of those. Sean will give you lessons.
I can teach anybody.
I
can teach anybody.
Now,
to play
listen,
a friend of mine,
the Quattrucci's
a friend
have
of
a
mine's a
problem.
musical
I
savant.
gotta tell you.
What?
We have sausage fingers.
We can't do it. We can't pull the cords. These hands are too small. I blame my father.
And you know what that means?
Oh,
Right,
no.
exactly.
I can't hit the octave on the piano.
See, I look cool, but I can't play.
Yeah, you look good.
Yeah, well, thanks,
Oh,
Dave.
he's
I
got the
can't.
Starburst Stratocaster.
And my parents got me accordion lessons when I was a kid. So
I got clarinet lessons.
Right.
And by the way, my brother Steve, who's on our podcast, can play any instrument.
Which one
And he
is this?
played for
Steve.
15 years. He played by ear on the keyboard.
Wow.
We got none of that talent.
yeah, he's
I
amazing. Actually amazing.
Yeah.
I just
But anyhow,
want to say
back
one
to the
thing
movie.
about music.
Back to the movie.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. As much as the guitar is fun, the bass is a great instrument to play in a band.
I want to stand up.
Terrible to
bass.
play on your own, but in
Stray
a band,
Cats.
bass is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Back to the film.
when this movie came out, I saw it in the theaters like 3 or 4 times at least.
Oh, wow.
And I think I saw it twice with my mother. Because my mom was so cool and she just loved this. Did we see that? Did you see that?
Wait, you said you saw some Irish guy you were seeing. Did you go with that guy?
Yeah, I got a question
No,
about that.
he had
Hold-
returned
wait.
he had returned to Ireland.
When did you and Brad get married?
95.
Oh, okay.
We didn't start dating till 92. This was before.
Oh, so this is 91.
This was
91.
when Brad and I were friends.
Oh, yeah.
The whole scenario.
Brad, it was way before you.
It seems like it might. Brad
I
might be
have
a
known her
rebound.
since 1986, though.
He's known me since
I think-
1986.
I think Brad's a rebound from the Irish guy.
That's a pretty good rebound, don't you think? A long time.
She traded up.
Yeah, I did.
She did.
I did.
Yeah, but great choice. Great choice.
Hey, Wojo, I think I saw it at the Rotunda too. So we may have overlapped.
Yeah.
All right. Do we need to rate this, or does it even matter? Because
Well, I don't think we're even done talking about the movie. There's so much.
I'm not done.
keep going. I don't know. We're okay. Go.
Well, now I forgot what I was gonna say.
All right. Are there any more?
I was like, oh my God, he's wrapping
Well,
it
you were
up.
talking about
Any more spoilers?
a bunch of times.
Well, when the father got hit by that bus, that was awful.
That's when the dad you get run over.
That was. I mean, that was.
Did they,
then they
what
did the
was the
tribute.
one when the couple comes up to the bus and they go, "Do you have snap?" No, he goes,
Do you have trout or
"Trout."
something?
Oh, we have soul. We have
no,
soul.
we have soul. That was great. There were
stuff.
a lot of lines in here that were
The
that
dialogue
were
was
just
just
really
great.
good. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. Thanks for bringing that up. This is the first time I've watched this movie with the closed captions on. So this is probably in fact, I know this is the only time I understood every single thing that they said because there are just times within this movie that the Irish accents are so thick that I just had absolutely no clue what they were saying.
Yeah, but you
It's
definitely got
funny-
used to it
it's
as
funny-
the movie went on.
It's funny you guys mention that.
To hear what they're saying, you have to know that.
It's funny because I was watching movies this week, and my son came from Wisconsin, 24 years old, millennial. And last night I watched this with my 18-year-old daughter. These kids love watching movies with the captions on.
Wow.
And I don't know what that's about. Like, by the way, they hated Halloween. I played Halloween on Halloween, and my son's like, I don't understand his motivation. What was the trauma that caused him to stab it? I go, what are you talking? What? Anyway, so yeah, the open captions on this really helps because you catch everything, including the lyrics of the music, right? Because they're doing all that.
Well, no, actually, it
They didn't
didn't
actually show-
on the DVD. They didn't show you the lyrics.
Well, last night I watched it on
Singing.
No, they
just say like soul
on
music.
Prime they had all the words, everything.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Well,
I want to say that
Yeah, this is an old.
I did see one in joke in there. I don't know if anyone else noticed it. When they were in the video store and they were watching the James Brown, did you notice the sign behind them? There was a row of movies and it said Alan Parker Month.
Yeah.
Because they talked about one of them mentioned Mississippi Burning. Which
When Jimmy
Mississippi Burning, there was another one they brought
when
up
they
too.
do the flashback and they show him selling like pirated videotapes. He said, "Oh, you want a Mississippi Burning?" That was horrible Irish accent. I'm terrible at that. But
what are you talking about? I was transported.
That's
you, Drew.
That's an Alan Parker film, right? Mississippi Burning's Alan Parker.
Yes, it is.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
He's got a pretty eclectic. He's got a pretty eclectic filmography, but he's got. I mean, between this, Fame, and The Wall, he's definitely got the credibility of being a music storyteller.
Absolutely.
Well, and you're telling me that all this music was live. They played it back.
I don't know if all
Not
of it was,
all of it, but
there was
he
one
tried to
scene
do a lot
where
of
the
it.
sounded way too polished, but in most of them, you could tell that they were singing live.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell that. Like
Some of
the
it-
Buddy Holly story, he did everything live, and you could tell.
Well, when we
I like that.
the documentary, the making of, they showed some scenes where they were shooting them singing, and you could tell that what Andrew Strong was singing was what went into the movie. Now, I'm not saying it all did, because obviously there were 2 soundtracks which were amazing.
Right.
So they obviously did record it at some point, but I think Parker tried to get some.
Well, he specifically talked about trying to get it to be like it's a really live feel. He said a lot of music in movies is very contrived. You're showing these live concert scenes, but you can tell it's recorded.
Well, even during the rehearsals, you could tell the mistakes they were making. Were,
Right.
Royd, Sally, Royd.
Yeah. Royd, Sally, Royd. Love that.
You can't use your accents.
But it was a hard R
Say
too.
loud, I'm black and I'm proud.
That's the other thing. This movie was a hard R, not hard R, but I mean it was R.
Well, yeah, they were F-bombing every other word.
Oh yeah, Irish people known for.
Oh, that's fine, but I wonder if that hurt the box office. Or
No, it did. It did. The movie was a $12 million budget. It made $15 million, and it would have made more money if it was PG-13 or PG.
Yeah.
But it was. I mean,
but it had to be that way.
I think the profanity feels as real as anything else in these people.
When
of
they say
Dublin.
shite, I think that's very charming.
It suffered because people couldn't understand most of the dialogue. But the soundtrack,
just like your video track right now, we can't.
I know, you're freezing up this week, John. What are you doing?
I don't understand a word you just said.
No,
We
I
need
don't
some
know
open
why.
caption.
The soundtrack exploded.
He said the soundtrack exploded.
John, you
News for
keep
the day.
going.
The soundtrack exploded. Got it. That's Garrett Morris. I was just doing Garrett Morris. Sorry.
Wow.
I mean,
I closed my eyes. It was like Garrett Morris was right here.
As the interpret, as the.
The movie definitely got.
Right.
Soundtrack exploded.
No, John, you're right. The movie got more of a life because the soundtrack took off.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And
Because the tour
and anybody that
they ended up
listens
doing
to
would
the
never have
movie-
happened.
Well, with anybody that listens to the music, if they find themselves eventually at the movie is great. So it will continue to live on.
And the movie's really going to explode now that we've done this podcast.
Right. We did give out a few spoilers. I have to say, I watched it last night and I cannot get Mustang Sally out of my head.
Oh, I know.
I got Mustang Sally.
Well,
And I love Joey Lips. Joey Lips was fantastic.
Joey the Lips
That guy.
Fagan.
Joey
the
Lips
Lips
Fagan.
He was one of the few actors that was actually an actor and not a musician.
Right. Right.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Now I was going to ask, Debbie, I mean, there's a lot of Catholicism in this film, a lot of faith in this film. So that had to have been nice for you guys. I mean,
Well, I'm not Catholic, but we have the same.
Christian, whatever.
Nice
you
job,
have no idea. Christian, of course. But you tend to bring it in no matter what the film is. I thought this would be a perfect.
I think music and art and movies and theater and all this creative stuff that people do. I mean, it's all you don't have to worry about poverty. The Irish are known for being poor, but you could live a very rich life. Onions and potatoes. Music. That's a rich man's meal, onion and potatoes. You get some. It's just fantastic.
And I just want to say about faith, it's something we always used to say. You brought up the picture of the Pope and Elvis above it.
Yeah.
We always used to say,
saw that right away.
Jesus Christ is Lord, but Elvis is always the king.
Absolutely.
That's why we'll see you all in hell.
I'm in hell. That's why I'm all red.
I love the
Now that's endearing.
I love the Elvis story that Joey the Lips tells the father.
Oh, the trumpet, cleaning out the trumpet.
Oh, and the father is just like,
spoilers.
What was the punchline to that story? What is it?
It's like he never saw him take drugs.
You
Tell
never-
me,
Right.
have you
I
ever?
And I like that he called his trumpet Gina Lola Bridges. I loved her. I used to love her.
Right.
And I love that. Once again, spoiler, that Wilson Pickett comes by at the
Oh,
end.
I know.
That's great.
And then he's
I
coming
know.
along.
And it was funny because that scene when Jimmy's walking in the rain, and it's really in one of the extras, on the second DVD that they were showing you how that was actually a brighter area. And they were spray painting poles dark black that were yellow and railings were red.
Oh, really?
Spray painting them. And then, of course, they're hosing down the street. So it was so well lit for that night scene. And it gave the whole, for me, it gave the emotional feeling of like everything Jimmy was going through. Like, he put this band together. They hate each other now. They've broken up, and he's disgusted. And he's walking home, through wet. It rained, and then when that guy pulls over and
When the limo pulls up.
window and asks him where the club is, and he said, "Oh, it's right down there, but they closed." God, my Irish accent
What?
sucks.
Wojo, what was that?
Can we have some?
I don't
need
know.
some.
Yeah, we're going to get some subtitles.
I
They
don't
was
know.
closed.
And
They
it
was
looks at the-
closed.
I'll put subtitles up for that.
Shut up.
Back to the hotel,
and
Mr.
the
Pickett.
guy, back to the hotel then, Mr. Pickett. And you see Jimmy just like, shite. I know. I think it was hilarious that he does that being interviewed.
Yeah.
Like that continues throughout the whole movie.
Yeah.
And
Jimmy,
I
what was
like-
it like when Wilson Pickett showed up? Hell if I know.
You know what I like is that they never resolved the Joey Lips thing. Because that's like, so Joey Lips did know him, but then it ends on that coda. He's touring America with Joe Text, but he's been dead since
82.
1972.
Yeah. All right. Well,
And
okay.
they asked, according to his mother.
Yeah. He was a
Boy, was she.
Oh.
That was
Joey's
great.
not here right now.
I know. My Joe, are you friends with my Joey?
Joey. It's Imelda Quirk's arse coming down the ladder. Love this movie. Good
I
call.
guess you do. All right. So what's your review? What's your thumbs up? I guess. Yippee-Ki-Yay.
Yippee-Ki-Yay.
I think everybody, right?
Oh, you Mustang down.
You just couldn't wait. You couldn't wait. Couldn't wait.
Well, I thought you were asking me.
Oh.
You were looking right at me.
How could you tell?
All right. Well, that's fantastic. That's a good cleanser. So we have to get back into some nasty, dirty 70s films.
So who's
Actually,
picking the
I
movie
get the
next?
pick.
What else
I
came
get
out
the
in
pick next week.
1971?
So it's John. Do you know what your
I
pick
got
is?
the pick, and I don't know what it is yet.
All right.
But
Well,
I
let
can
us know.
guarantee this: It's not going to be early 70s.
Here's one.
And Ralph's gonna hate it.
Here's something. There's a movie. It came out just a few years ago. It's a great thriller. It's about a British soldier who gets lost in the middle of the night on patrol in Belfast in Northern Ireland during the occupation. And the name of this bleak and intense movie is actually 71.
Oh yeah, I know. By the way, good actor. Did you ever see that actor in that prison film he did with Ben Mendelsohn? That same actor? I can't remember the film's name.
I can't remember.
Fantastic. It's a great film. Now, I was at a cemetery this weekend getting my book signed.
Nice.
Chapel Street.
Do we have any pictures from that?
I met one of
from that sign?
No, I met one of Sean's friends who wants to be on the podcast to do Straw Dogs.
Oh God Almighty!
She's in.
I don't know what that movie is.
Like all these other ones that we watch. I'll tell you what, Ralph. That
Yeah,
particular one, when we do that, have this person come on, and I'll take the podcast off for that one.
I think that's a good idea. I think
if
you
I
should.
have to be here, you have to be here.
Right.
I can't.
Yes.
I
And
just
it came
can't.
out
All of
in
us.
1971.
Perfect. Well, Joe, my recommendations have been working all right. So, all right.
You know
So,
what?
John,
I'm
you're
going to
next.
take that in consideration when I pick my movie. That.
Okay. So, John, you'll be next. And by the way, when John brings his movie, there will be spoilers.
There will be spoilers.
Just so everybody knows.
Always going to be spoilers.
Spoilers.
Also, I'd like to say I really feel like we can get a streak going where we have a full episode where nothing falls on anybody's head. I really believe in us.
We've already got a streak of one episode.
We're one.
Here we are.
It's the beginning. It's the beginning.
All right, everybody. Wojo, that was a great pick.
Yeah.
Great pick.
Excellent.
I didn't want to watch it. I thought I had seen it over and over, and I'm glad I did. I watched it with my 18-year-old daughter.
Did she like
and
it, Ralph?
Yeah, she loved it. She loved it. We had a great. It was awesome, and I forgot so much about the atmosphere of the whole film and everything that was going on around it. The drug lines when the guy says, "I thought there was a drug line."
I thought you were selling drugs.
Right,
Oh,
all
that sounded Irish. I thought you were selling drugs.
There you go, and all the little asides. I just really enjoyed it, and my foot never stopped tapping.
Yeah,
I swear.
Well,
I can't play one instrument, nothing except the tambourine. I can play.
You could go see a neurologist for that if that's a problem.
I probably should. I learned to play Happy Birthday one string on a guitar. That was my big claim to fame.
Wait a minute. Didn't you play on the little keyboard Every Day by Buddy Holly?
I might have done that. That was a long time ago. All right.
I can't remember. Was that a wedding? That was a wedding.
Wait.
Say it up. I didn't hear that.
I have to do this for Drew. This is the number of podcasts we've had without someone getting hurt by something falling on him.
Thank you very much.
How many days without an accident?
Right. Days without an accident.
Days without an accident.
We can do
All right,
it.
guys. Listen. Have a good week.
Yeah.
It's election night. We don't know what's going to happen. Everybody stay safe. John, let us know the movie as soon as you can.
I will.
All right.
Absolutely.
And we'll see everybody.
Right.
John, you want to lead out with a little Mustang Sally?
Mustang Sally.
Ba-na.
If you gotta slow your Mustang down.
All right.
Is
Good
this
night,
his
everybody.
50th birthday party? Jeez.
All right. See you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.